Hey everyone, it's Ashley Hoffman and I'm back again for Nail's Next Top Nail Artist Season 6, this time with Challenge 4, which was sponsored by Tammy Taylor. The theme is Love Story. For this week's challenge, we were asked to illustrate our favorite couple's love story across 10 nail tips. It was not allowed to be on a hand and we were only allowed to use products sent by Tammy Taylor. No acrylic was allowed to be used. My love story inspiration for this challenge came from Sex and the City's Carrie Bradshaw and Mr. Big. To start this design, I placed 10 nail tips side by side and used natural clear sculpt to fill in all the gaps and make it an even canvas. Using the Shape It Up liquid, it allowed me to mold the sculpt exactly how I wanted. Then I filed and shaped my 10 tips to an even canvas. Using Blush Kisses, I painted 2 coats and then finished with Flawless Finish. Then using the white art paint, I outlined the New York skyline. This love story takes place in New York City, so it was only fitting that I did the New York City skyline. I used Rose Fire Opal, which is a loose dazzle dust, and mixed it with equal parts of Flawless Foundation. This will allow you to paint it with an even coverage over the skyline. I started by tracing out the shapes of my characters with white gel paint. Carrie and Big's relationship happened accidentally. They kept bumping into each other all over the city. Then finally, they decided to meet on purpose and have an actual date. For the skin tones, I mixed Blush Kisses and XO Beige. Then for Carrie's hair and the details, I used Iced Coffee, Street Style, and the Gold Art Paint. For the outlines and the shadows and highlights, I used the black and white art paints. For the flower on her dress, I used Fancy Pants and Red Velvet. For Mr. Big's suit and hair, I used a mixture of iced coffee, black, and white art paints. Through the seasons, there are a few items that I definitely wanted to show in my final piece, which really defines their relationship. To sculpt out these items, I started by sketching out the designs on a piece of paper. Then I put the paper inside a plastic paper protector. Using natural clear sculpt, I sculpted out the items. Then, curing it, I popped them off the paper and then painted each one individually. One of the iconic items that I definitely wanted to depict in my piece was Carrie's blinged out pink flip phone. Throughout the entire seasons of Sex and the City, Carrie refers to her boyfriend as Mr. Big. We don't, as viewers, know his name until the very last few minutes of the last season of the series, where we find out his name is John. I began by painting the cell phone with Fancy Pants. Then I covered it with the Rose Fire Opal. After that, I painted on the details with silver and black gel paints. To add the finishing blinged out touch, I added light rose Swarovski crystals to the entire face of the cell phone. In the series, Carrie Bradshaw is a sex columnist. In one of the first few episodes, she meets up with Mr. Big and asks him, "Have you ever been in love?" His response was, "Abso-frickin-lutely." This is one of the most iconic quotes from the series Sex and the City, so I definitely wanted to make sure it was part of my final piece. My next item is a crossword puzzle. In one of the first couple episodes, when Carrie and Big first got together, she finds him very confusing as a person and really can't get a grasp on what he likes or what he wants in a relationship. She says she's good at crossword puzzles, but not so good at people puzzles. So this item represents all the times that Carrie and Big have broken up and made up again due to the fact that they just can't quite figure each other out. My next item is a Judith Lieber bejeweled duck purse. This item is significant because it sparked the love conversation between Carrie and Big. Next, to make my Eiffel Tower, I first refined the shape using my E-file and a fine diamond bit. The Eiffel Tower is significant because in the last episode of the series, Big travels to Paris to win Carrie back. And here's my final piece. Thank you so much for watching. This was so fun to create. Also, thank you so much to Tammy Taylor and Nails Magazine for sponsoring this competition. Be sure to like, subscribe, and vote.